Joining us now is Tulsi Gabbard, former 2020 Democrat presidential candidate and Fox News contributor. Tulsi, you were there today along with President Trump. How important was it for him to be there today?
You know, one thing that ran through my mind as I was there, joining President Trump and honoring the ultimate sacrifice that these 13 service members paid, sharing the sorrow that these Gold Star families still feel and will always feel at the loss of their loved ones. Meanwhile, where is Kamala Harris? Where is Joe Biden? Well, Joe Biden's on vacation, and Kamala Harris is running a campaign based on joy and vibes and laughing her way around. I can tell you who wasn't laughing were those families, some of the survivors of that attack in this disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. This is personal for me, Judge, and so many other Americans who know firsthand the cost of war. We've seen and experienced it firsthand. We know how important it is to have a commander-in-chief who values every single one of our lives and who has the strength and the courage to exercise all means of diplomacy, meeting with dictators, allies, adversaries, partners in the pursuit of peace, recognizing that war is always and should always be a last resort. I endorse President Trump today because he has those qualities and he's proven that he is that commander-in-chief. Kamala Harris has proven she is not. We're closer to the brink of nuclear war now than ever before, closer to World War III because of Harris and Biden and their policies.
You know, Tulsi, a mother of one of the slain troops spoke out against Kamala Harris today. Take a listen.
Vice President Harris is now running to be commander-in-chief. I wonder, do you have a message for her?
You are with the whole administration in all of this. You hold the same accountability as President Biden does. You were right beside him in making these decisions. This administration has tried to sweep it under the rug, and that's absolutely not going to work for this nation.
You know, Tulsi, your response to that?
You know, I want to know if Kamala Harris has personally called every one of these 13 families and the families of those who came home injured. There was a triple amputee there today, there to honor the loss of his brothers and sisters. Has she called them to apologize for the decision that they made that resulted in this disastrous withdrawal and an explosion and an attack that took these 13 service members' lives that was completely preventable? Kamala Harris is completely unfit to serve as our commander-in-chief. Voters, regardless of whether you're Democrats or Republicans, need to know that truth, because that's really what this election is about, Judge. It's not about Democrats versus Republicans. Right. It's about having a president who stands for freedom, peace, and prosperity, which is Donald Trump, versus having a president in Kamala Harris who attacks our freedoms and censors us and uses political retaliation, who has pushed us to the brink of war, and who's created this economic hardship for Americans across the country. That's really the choice that we have before us. And for me, as a service member, as a veteran, it's a very clear choice. I love our country. I cherish peace and freedom, and I'm supporting Donald Trump in this election so that he can be our commander-in-chief once again.
You know, it's interesting, Tulsi. CNN today tried to attack Trump for attending the wreath ceremony. Take a listen.
Is he politicizing these soldiers' deaths? Should he even be at Arlington National Cemetery if he's going to make some politics out of this?
I just look at President Biden, under whose leadership we actually ended and made the tough decision to end our nation's longest war. That was the right decision by President Biden.
You know, I guess the question, Tulsi, should have been, why wasn't Biden in attendance as well? But I want to ask you, just 4 years ago, you were one of many Democrats running against Donald Trump. Today, you endorse Trump. Why?
Like I said, I've just made the case. The choice in this election is very clear, and I'm confident that if elected as president again, Donald Trump, he has the strength and the backbone to stand up to the military-industrial complex and keep us out of these unnecessary wars of choice. I want to point back to that clip you just played. Let's remember that Joe Biden on that debate stage did not even remember that his decision resulted in the deaths of 13 of my brothers and sisters in uniform. Donald Trump this morning, he didn't have a big crowd out there at Arlington Cemetery. It was him standing and grieving with these Gold Star families for hours. This wasn't just a drive-by photo op. He stayed with them for hours and helped to console them and thank them for their sacrifice that they have made for our great country.
Was it emotional for the president?
It was extremely emotional. It was extremely emotional for everyone who was there. It was groups of loved ones and family and friends. It was 2 survivors who were there at that attack at Abbey Gate in Kabul who came back, who were seriously injured now for the rest of their lives. It was such a powerful, powerful day. I'm grateful to have been there to offer my own sincere gratitude for their service and sacrifice. But it's so important that we have leaders who do this, who not just do it for a photo op, but actually express, as President Trump did this morning. I saw it, I felt it, I experienced it, the sorrow that he felt for the great loss that not only these families have felt, but our country endures.
Well, and he clearly didn't look at his watch as Joe Biden did. Tulsi Gabbard, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.